Listen, please like, subscribe, and share our YouTube channel.
All my praises 'cause he died for you and me.
Bringing awareness to domestic violence. You don't want to miss it, so tune in every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. on Facebook. Let's talk.
And that's why I keep praising him 'cause
Let's talk.
he's so amazing. Yes, he's amazing.
Listen, please like, subscribe, and share our YouTube channel.
Thank y'all for being patient with me tonight. Hey, Brett, because y'all know at 7 o'clock, at about 10 minutes to 7, I'll be on and ready to go. But I thank God for y'all being patient with me. Thank you, Bretta. I am excited about tonight. I got one of my sisters, my biological sister, hey Terry, hanging out with me tonight. She's got an awesome testimony. I really don't know much about it. I just heard bits and pieces over the years. Never really had a one-on-one conversation with her about it because I really didn't want to know. I do know she is a domestic violence survivor. And I wanted her. I'm going to hear her journey tonight for the very first time, just like you guys. Whatever the Lord allows her to tell. Anybody that knows Reverend, we call it a preaching machine. My sister, Reverend Mary Jane Ragins. Anybody that knows her knows she's going to speak whatever the Lord allows her to tell. I don't know what that's going to be. I really don't know what her journey entails. Like I said, I know I heard bits and pieces over the years. I know she's a domestic violence survivor. I have been trying for several months to get her here. So this is her first time going live, really, as far as I know, speaking of her journey. And I know a lot of y'all are probably surprised about it. But listen, my sister is a powerhouse. And I'm not only saying that because she's my sister, but this girl right here can bring a word like no other. You hear me? So I have been waiting and in anticipation for the past month because I knew she was coming on tonight. And I'm excited to have her. I am honored to have her. She and I and my sister Angela, the three of us, we are also on a journey with our radio talk show called The Sisters. It's on Women's Inspirational Radio Station every Monday at 4 p.m. Y'all gonna hear a little noise in the background. They're bringing the last piece in now, so y'all please forgive the noise. My sister Mary Jane, the one that's coming on tonight, my sister Angela, the three of us are on a journey of healing and mending our family. So that makes tonight even more of an honor for me to have her here because we are on this journey together, mending and healing our family. And I tell you what, God does things in his own time, his own way. And all we better do is be obedient when he does. So I am so honored. I don't see her on here yet. And for those of you, I know y'all hear some noise, so please forgive it, y'all. Please forgive the noise. Don't worry about that, dear. So it's okay. I'm talking to the delivery guy, y'all. So for those of you who don't know, this is your first time here. I am Rebecca. I am WarriorShe. I am a domestic violence survivor of many years, praise God. So now I am an advocate, bringing awareness as much as I can to fighting this demon called domestic violence. God gave me this platform, WarriorShe, probably about 4 years ago. He placed this in my belly, and it took me all of this time to do what I need to do to get to where we are. This platform is to allow people who have survived domestic violence, cancer, depression, alcoholism, any walks of life who survived that journey, and God has put them in a place where they're now living and enjoying Jesus and enjoying life and growing in prosperity. I allow them to come on to this platform, tell their journey in their words, whatever God allows them to tell. And I am honored that God chose me to be the vessel to use on this platform. So I thank you all for joining us tonight. Those of you who are here for the very first time, I thank you. I thank you. I know you could be somewhere else doing something else with your time, and we don't take it lightly that you all are here to hang out with us. So, brother, text your mother. Tell her to come on in. I don't see her here, so I can bring her in here with me. So text her or call her and tell her to come on in. I am on. So I thank you all so much. But listen, until my sister comes on here, how y'all doing? How's y'all day? I see some new faces in the house tonight. Blair Britton, thank you for joining us. Thank you for hanging out with us. Tasha Owens. I know y'all hear my grandbaby back there, y'all. It's going to calm down in a minute. So thank y'all for being patient with us. I appreciate it. So y'all tag some friends. Share the video. Tell them to come on in, hang out with us. I tell you what, don't y'all be surprised if my sister get on here and get to preaching and the Holy Ghost is set right down in the middle of this live. Because that girl will bring a word. In everything she does, she gonna bring a word. So I am so excited. I am so excited to have her here with me. And to those of you who are saying, are they really sisters? Yes, we are biological sisters. Same DNA. Raised in the same house. So I don't see her on here yet. Y'all be patient with her. She's not like real electronics literate. Am I saying that right? Hey Mel. So y'all be patient with her. She's coming in. I know her daughter is probably on the phone with her getting her in. So y'all be, hey Stephanie, if y'all be patient with her for a minute. Hi Herbertha, welcome, good to see you. Herbertha is someone I've never seen on before. Hi Marquetta. Hey Denise, that's my sister out in Texas, hanging out with me tonight. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with us and coming on. I know I had to start a little bit late tonight, but I was trying to wait until my house quiet down till the delivery. Try sending her requests. Okay, that's my niece telling me to send my sister a request. So she must be on here somewhere. Okay, Sabretta, I sent her a request. I sent it to her, Sabretta. Y'all, my niece is helping her mama out. Cause my sister ain't know nothing about all this technology stuff. So we trying to teach her. So y'all be patient. She gonna come on in here in a minute. Y'all see I'm trying something new with my hair, right? Y'all know I'm letting it grow out. So I'm doing these big twists in it for a few days. Trying to let it breathe and grow. And hey, Sharon Cookie. Um, so don't y'all dare say nothing about my head, okay? All right. Um, so, brother, I sent your mom the request. She all right? I got somebody inboxing me asking me what date and time is my show. Um, Let me see if I can tag her in here. Y'all, I'm trying to get my sister in. I'm trying to get her in. I'm trying to get her in. So, thank y'all. Thank you, Perrin. You're right, Cookie. Can't beat that natural. If that natural, you can switch it up, perm it, weave it, braid it, all that. So, I think God is getting healthy again. Y'all, I'm trying to get my sister in here. Y'all hear my granddaughter, right? KK. Y'all hear her up there singing? Really? Y'all hear that? She's 3. um, so, I'm trying to. Sabrina, get your mama in here. I'm trying to get her in here, y'all. Oh, there she is. She is. She's a coming. She's a coming. And adding. So hopefully our connection is okay. Well, she just accepted my request. It says connection failed. Um, so I thank y'all for being patient with us. Mel, you know my sister is not computer literate, right? Um, there she is. Hey,
Yeah.
sister.
Hey, how you doing?
But sister.
Yes.
Now,
Let's not come on.
where are you going with all
Let's
of
get on
this?
with the show.
Sister, where is you going with all this? What's going on?
Transformation.
You is, girl, you is cute. Ah, honey,
Hmm. Just getting in from
what's
work
going
good.
on?
Just getting in from work good.
I
Just getting
know,
in from work good.
I know. Y'all, this is my big sister, the the amazing powerhouse, Reverend Doctor Pastor Mary Jane Reagan, my big sister. Thank you for coming on, sis.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's a blessing to be here. It really is. You know, I'm one that,
I
I'm not out there in the open, and I think you probably didn't let everybody know. You've asked me quite a few times. And I keep telling you, I pray about it. Okay. I pray about it, because I'm not one, I guess, to put or even talked about what I've been through. I just kept it on the inside of me, you know. And maybe this is the time that God has it set for me to come and tell my testimony for what and all that I've been through. You know, and as I look back over my life, and, you know, I can truly and honestly say it's been nobody but God that kept me this far. You know, I've been through so much. Even as I look back, I even thought there have been times when I know it been time that the enemy was trying to just steal my identity from me. He didn't want me to know who I was in Christ Jesus. And I went through so much. You know, even I can remember when I first went in, well, I'm gonna back up a little bit. Talking about domestic violence, and I had listened to some of the testimony on the shows when I could get in, and I just sit there and I listen to the testimony. But my testimony, I think, is a little deeper, because even with me, I can remember times when I was beating until I bled, and I didn't tell anybody about it. I kept it to myself. There have been times I even went to the hospital and nobody knew about it. Why? Because I just really thought that even my family didn't care, that I wasn't loved. And I kept a lot of things to myself. But I kept praying and trusting God even through the midst of what I've been going through. And then I got into another relationship. And I'll never forget this night when I was at the beauty salon. And my beautician was doing my hair. And my phone kept ringing, and I didn't want it to answer, because it was a relationship that I was in that I really was trying to get out. And I prayed and I asked God to pull me out. But when he pulled me out, what did I do? I went back in, because I felt like this is what I'm being loved, even though I'm going through, even though I'm being abused. I still felt like this person really loved me. And that night when I was at the beauty salon and I left, well, when the beautician heard the conversation, because I let the phone run for a while, and then I let her listen. And when I answered the phone, all the voice said was, they wanted to know where I was, and I wouldn't say where I was. And then they wanted to know whether I was going to come by their home that evening. And I said, I'll think about it. So after I left the beauty shop, I went to mom and dad's house. And while I was there, I was contemplating whether I should go to this house or not. But then I decided I would go. And the strange thing is that when I got up near, and we know mom and them live up near Dairy Queen off of Broad Street. And when I got up there, this voice spoke to me. And I'm talking about back in 2001. And I could hear that voice speaking to me, but I went anyway. And when I got to his house, he opened the door. And he was just as silent, he was just as calm as he wanted to be. So I went on the inside, and we sat down, and he looked at me, he looked at his watch. He looked at me, he looked at his watch. And he said, you was at the beauty shop all this time? And at that moment, I got frustrated. I think I got angry. And all I said was, when I got up this morning, I said, the car that I'm driving, I paid the car note on that car. The keys to the house, I pay bills. And I don't feel like I have to explain to anybody what time or whether I just left. Not knowing that he had already took the gun out the car and had the gun on underneath the nightstand. And when I said what I did, he reached under the nightstand. He grabbed the gun. And when I looked over, there was a note written next to his lamp. And I looked, and the note said, it was telling me how he killed me, and then he killed himself. And when the gun came up, my right hand got his hand. And we tussled and we tussled and we tussled and we tussled. We tussled so that when we tussled all the way in the living room. The gun was to my head when he pulled it. But when we tussled, we landed on the couch with the gun in my chest. With the gun in my chest. And all I could see was his eyes was red as fire. I said, oh my Lord, I'm getting ready to die. So I began to pray. I began to pray in my heart. And he just kept telling me, he said, if I let you go, he said, you're not coming back to me. He said, before I let you be with anybody else, I'd rather see you dead. But all I could do was just kept praying. I kept praying. I kept praying. And every time I looked at him, his eyes just got redder and redder. But my hands were still on his head, but the gun was in my chest. The gun was in my chest. And I said, yes. I said, I'm coming back. I said, I'll come back. I said, I'll come back. He said, no. He said, if I let you up and let you go, you're not coming back to me. And this was back in 2001. I'll never forget that February night. And he went on, he went on. I had to be the work at 6:30. But I didn't move because I kept praying. Because at that moment, I know nobody could have pulled me out but God. And around 3:30, the clip of the gun fell in my hand. And I took it and I set it in my coat pocket. Because I still had on my jacket and everything. Then now about maybe 4:30, 5 o'clock, his hand got tired. And when his hand went down, I grabbed the gun. And when I grabbed the gun, I put it in my pocket. Now I'm realizing I'm running late for work. So I called my supervisor. And when I got to the door to go out, the Spirit said, give him the gun. I turned around and gave him the gun and the clip that was in the gun. Went home and got dressed. But what my family, I think, Rebecca, what y'all don't know, I hid in somebody's car. Every time I rode with somebody during that time, I rode in the back, laying down in the seat, because I was afraid that he was going to find me. See, people look at people and then remember what they're going through. And I lived in this town, even around my own family, and they didn't even realize what all I was going through. Because when you don't live a life of being ostracized, when you don't live a life and you know you don't have nobody to talk to, when you don't live a life of being rejected, you don't have no other choice but to trust God. And tonight, I want anybody, I don't care what kind of situation you're in. I declare if you trust God and believe Him and have faith, God will bring you out. See, that night, I thought I was going to die. I thought that I was going to die. Here go me, here go me. I'm a product. I'm a product of being born out of wedlock. Here go me. All the men in my life seem like nobody seemed to love me. Because I'm a product of being born out of wedlock. But you know what? You know what? When God dealt with me with all of that. See, I'm not going to sit on this live Facebook and confess to be perfect, because I'm not. But my life was consist of being ostracized, being rejected. That's the life that was given to me by the people who I thought loved me. And I was wrong. See, even being born out of wedlock, and some people may feel like, well, why is Reverend Regan, or why is Mary Jane, whatever they call me, why is she saying that? Because that's what it was. We didn't come from a perfect family, because if we were perfect, then I wouldn't have been born out of wedlock. You know, and God dealt with me. I'm here. I got my dad, Robert. Then I got my biological dad. You know, and I'm not feeling the love, and then the relationship. Here go one man wanted to kill me. And all I'm doing is trying to show that I do have love. I do love you. And God kept telling me, God kept dealing with me. He kept dealing with me. And I found out that there's only one person that I know really, really loved me, and that God. Because God brought me through so much. I have no choice but to serve him. I got no choice but to worship him. I got no choice but to lean and depend on him. Because as I look back over my life and all the things that I've been through, if it had not been for the Lord on my side, where would I be? Where would I be? God did for me what my own family didn't do for me. See, nobody knew how it feels like. Nobody, look at you. You cannot tell me how to get up if you ain't never been down. A person can't tell me how to get up. See, I know what it feels like to be ostracized. I know what it feels like to be rejected. I know what it feels like to be cast away. I know what it feels like when the people who you are supposed to embrace you no matter what. See, I know what it feels like. I've been there. I've been there. I know, see, that's my testimony. That was me. See, what the enemy didn't know, he should have took me out when he had a chance. He messed up, because look at God. God kept me. And even through all of that, like I said a few minutes ago, being born out of wedlock, and God took me to that scripture in Ezekiel, the 16th chapter. Where he said, I passed by and I saw you wallowing in your own blood. Nobody cared for you, but I passed by. See, God took me to that scripture in Ezekiel, the 16th chapter. I have no choice. Look at me now. Look at me now. Even God looked beyond all of my faults, and he saw my needs. I used to even, I would sit and I would look, God, why me? Is there anybody out there that can love me? God, why me? I was created in your image. You created me. You made me, God. Why can't people accept me for who I am? See, I lived a life where people judge me by what somebody else said. And see, people will believe it, even if, especially if it comes from your own family house. People will believe only because they feel like it's truth, because it's coming from a family member. And that's not always. It's not always the truth. It's not always the truth. And I live that. There have been times I wanted to fight back. There have been times that I wanted to get revenge. There have been times I wanted to hurt back because I was hurt. And I'll never forget that day coming from Columbia and coming down Wedgefield Highway. And the racetrack right down the Wedgefield Highway is a vacant lot right across the street. And I pulled over. And I was just overwhelmed with the tears. I didn't know what to do. And I got out that car. And all I could do was cry. All I could do was cry. And I could have heard the Spirit telling me, girl, you trying to fight a battle that don't belong to you. This battle is mine. This battle is mine. I can remember being at my son's house. I'll never forget that morning in May. I'll never forget it. I woke up to tears. I woke up crying. I was wet with the tears. I wouldn't say nothing about it. It was about 3 o'clock that morning, and I was at my son's house. And when I turned around, the Bible was open up in the middle of the bed. And mind you, when I looked at it, it was on Romans, the 16th chapter. I can't forget it. In the 20th verse, they say, the God of peace removes Satan. And as I read that scripture, the tears began to dry up. My own son didn't know what was taking place upstairs in his house, but it was between me and God. It was between me and God. As much as I tried it, as much as I wanted relationship, as much as I wanted to be loved, as much, seemed like the more I was giving, the less I was getting. The more I was giving, I was so wounded and weak, I didn't even know whether I was going or coming in time. Nobody never really sat down to hear. But God. But I kept trusting him. I kept believing in him. Some people will make you feel like you're the only sinner when you come around them. They'll make you feel like you're the only one that sin. They'll make you feel like they, you know, the thing that I see is that when we have allowed God to come in our lives and change us, we will make some people feel like they are the only sinner, and we will make people feel like we haven't sinned at all. And it's sad when your own family will try to destroy you. It's sad. It's sad. But I lived that life. See, nobody know what it feels like to sleep in a car, and the car wasn't even yours. I did that. I did that. I'm not ashamed of my testimony. I'm not even ashamed of the gospel. Because tonight I want everybody to know I'm walking into my truth. I'm walking into my destiny. Because my destiny is greater than any pain that I can go through. My destiny is greater. It's no more hiding. I'm walking into my truth. I'm walking into my truth. I found out that if you just believe and have faith in God, God done remind me so much, Mary Jane, I'll never leave you. I'll never forsake you. Like I say, see, I know what it feels like to sleep in a car and the car wasn't yours. I know what it feels like to be hungry and live in the same town with my family and my friends. See, I know, see, some people took the words of what somebody said and judged me instead of getting to know me. How can you know a person if you don't spend time with them? I love my family. I love my family. I love my friends. And I think my family knows that. They knows that. This is not about me. It's not even about my family, I don't believe. It's not even about my friends, but it's about the grace of God. Look where God brought me from. Almost lost my life with a man who wanted to be with me, and I didn't want it. Not only that, here go me, I was blessed. Yes, I was blessed. had 2 fathers, but still didn't feel the love. And here go me in the middle. Here go me in the middle. Here go me on this side. I got siblings from a biological father. I got siblings on this side. Siblings on this side. You know, it's sad when people think you want something from somebody. One thing I found out, I didn't ask to be born. I didn't. God chose my parents. And you know, and I always say, God knew who had the right DNA to make what he wanted me to be. And for me to go through all what I've been through, God must be know I can handle it. Because I do believe if anybody else went through everything that I went through, they probably would have lost their mind. But God kept me. God protected me. Glory to God. And look what happened. I'll never forget that day. I'll never forget that day. Now here go me, the one that been ostracized and been criticized and been rejected all this time. Here go God, now I want to put you in the ministry. I even questioned God. God, you sure you want me? Who can listen to me, God? But here go God telling me, what better person than you? And I'll never forget that day. I'm sitting in my house, in Mom, at 216 Woodlawn, getting ready to go to work. Now, mind you, I was working on a job making $23.71 an hour, only to fall back to start making $7.60 an hour. And I'll never forget that day. Sitting in the house, and that voice called me one time, March the 3rd. If anybody want to know, it was March the 3rd, 2003. And I heard a voice call me. And it said, Mary Jane. And I sat up, I looked around, but nobody was there. So I was sitting in the chair, and I bent back down to tie my shoe because I was getting ready to go to work. And I heard the voice again, and it said, Mary Jane. And I sat up because that time it got loud. I looked around, I thought Sabretta came in the house, but I didn't see nobody. And all I could say, well, who's calling me? Who's calling me? So I been back down the third time, and when I been down the third time, the voice called me again, and the whole house shook. And I ran to the front door, and when I got to the front door, all I could do was holler, who's calling me? I started crying, who's calling me? But the voice didn't call me no more. And I ran. I opened up the doors in the house, and I ran, and I got to the kitchen. I bent over because by that time, everything went black. All I could say was that death called me. I said, oh, Lord, that death. I said, but God, if I got to die, forgive me for my sin. I said, but Lord, I ain't ready to die, but if you got anything for me to do, please, you show it to me. But God, I ain't ready to die. But if I got to die, forgive me for my sins. But I'm not ready, God, to die. I look back, even my messed up state, even with the things that I've done, how that man blessed me and how that man looked past my fault, even with things that I went contrary with his word, that man still looked past my fault and saw my needs. I said, God, if you got anything for me to do, please show it to me. You got to do it, God. And I'll never forget that day, March the 3rd, 2003. I'll never forget it. And as I lift my stuff up off the counter, I saw the light began to come back. And when I lift myself up, I got a pain in my wrist, in my left wrist, and that pain went all the way up till it got in the middle of my chest. And I wouldn't say nothing to anybody. And I went on in the bathroom, and as I began to comb my hair came out in the sink. And I knew right then, I said, Lord, I had cancer. I said, Lord, what's going on? I said, I got cancer. My hair came out in the sink as I began to comb. But everybody knew I'm so used to putting on other hair. So I grabbed one and I put it on. I went to work. And that was March the 3rd, 2003. Got home that night after work. All that day at work, I seemed like I just felt like I was going to die. But that next day, which was March the 4th, I had to go to work. When I got to work, and everybody knows Spain Market in Wedgefield. Now, how you go from making $23.71 an hour to going making $7.60 and 80 cents an hour? And I went to work. But everything I did it with pride, no matter what it was. And when I got to work, a young lady came in. The young lady who was working with me, she said, Miss Mary Jane, would you look out for my station till I get back? I was the head cashier. I said, sure, Miss Margaret, I would. She went in the bathroom. The young lady came in, and I said, ma'am, may I help you? And she told me what she wanted. She told me what she wanted. And I went down, and I got it. She looked at me, she said, your face. I said, ma'am, do you know me? She said, but your face. I said, ma'am, do you know me? So I went on back up to the cash register. She came. Mind you now, anybody who knows Spain Market, that's a busy little corner. But for 35 to 40 minutes, nobody came in that store, but that lady and Miss Margaret stayed in the bathroom. When she got back to the register, she began to speak in tongues. And she started shouting in the store. She said, baby, God is calling you. I said, no, ma'am, no, ma'am, no, ma'am. I said, no, ma'am, no, ma'am. She said, God is calling you to save his people. I said, no, ma'am. I said, let me tell you about my life and what I done done. I said, I got 3 children and no husband. I said, God can't use me. She said, but God saw your heart. She said, you got a golden heart, and that what got his attention. She went back down the aisle and she started shouting and speaking in tongues again. And she came back. She asked me, what church did I go to? And I told her. And I told her. She shouted again and she came back. She said, babe, if you're not in the word, get in the word. She said, don't lose your life. To fast forward, let me tell you, when that lady touched the door, she looked back at me. Mind you, she never got what she came to get. But she did what she came to do. And she looked back, she said, you hadn't cried yet. She said, you got some crying days ahead of you. She said, but God got your back. She said, but God got your back. She touched the door. And then she looked back. The last thing she said was, don't lose your soul. Get in the word and stay in the word. God got your back. She touched the door. And who all out there listening? I don't know which way that lady went. All I know, I've never seen her from that day to this day. March the 3rd was when I heard the voice. And March the 4th, when God sent confirmation to me. And I can tell you, it wasn't easy. Because I look at my ministry. Whenever I went to speak, I was mostly always by myself. Nobody was there. But you know what? I kept praying. I kept trusting God. And I kept telling him, I'll go if I have to go by myself. That's what I did. That's what I did. See, nobody can tell you how to get through something if they've never been through it. But I can tell anybody out there, God is a keeper. I can tell anybody out there,
yes,
if God be for you, he more than the whole world against you. I can say that. And I'm on this journey now. And I believe Lee Williams sing that song. I can't give up. can't. And I won't give up. I won't even take nothing. A journey. This race that I'm running, or any Christian can run. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon. And I have decided, I'm talking about me. I have decided, my mind is made up. My heart is fixed. It ain't nothing nobody can do to me now. All the hurt has been done. All the pain, yeah, it's been caused. I'm not sitting here saying, because like I said, yes, that in times I wanted to hurt back. But I asked God that night, when that man had pulled that gun, and when God did it, I promised God I would never go back in that relationship. But then God sent me somebody, and my family knew, and I was about to be married, but he died March 12th, 2012. I couldn't understand that. Here I finally found somebody that loved me. But then I realized God knows what's best. And even through all of that, I told God, though you slay me, yet will I trust in you. I told God, I'ma still trust you. I'ma still serve you. I'ma still worship you. I'ma still love you. It don't matter. Because I know God. And anybody out there, and I'm speaking on all the levels, even from domestic violence. No, it's not good to stay in it. Get out. But by the grace of God, I'm still here. Through that. Through that. I still deal with some issues, but you know what? I'm free from it. I'm free from it. Broken, but blessed. I don't think there's nothing nobody can do to me now that can hurt me no more than what I've been through. Because like I said, I lived those lives. Nobody knows what it feels like. Nobody knows what it feels like to sleep in a car and the car don't belong to you. Don't know where you're going to get your next meal, but look at God. Nobody but God. Nobody but God. He kept me. He protected me. Even. And it's sad that we take the words of people and we hurt them. We hurt people instead of getting to know them. I went through so much hurt in my life. And nobody but me and God. I was afraid. I was afraid to trust. Afraid to trust. And look at God. Y'all don't know how happy I am that God is restoring my sisters, me, Rebecca, and Angela, on the same platform. Something I thought that would never happen. But look at God. Nobody but God. We couldn't get around it. God got a way that's mighty sweet. We look at how it is. You can't run and you can't hide. And I always say, it's time. And I think, Rebecca, you've heard me say, it's time for the mask to come on. It's time to walk into truth. It's time to stop living a life that's not truthful to God. And I do believe that if we live lives behind closed doors, in the privacy of our home, like we live out in public, it would be no problem. We wouldn't have to worry about putting on the mask. We'll be living the truth. Because the truth will set you free. People look at people and judge them for the outside, for the outer character. But I also think God looks on the inside. I can dress up all I want. I can make people think I'm this holy, but the truth gonna eventually come out. That's why a lot of people, we go in that mirror, we want to make sure everything looks good. But what about the inside? What about the inside? And I know I probably went through a little bit fast, but I don't know how much time we got. But I can go on and on about the things that I went through. Look at God. God kept me all of these years when everybody else turned their backs on me. And everybody else. I remember when my mother passed, and I got and after the funeral, somebody went straight to the hospital. Had nothing better to do than to talk something that was negative, and didn't realize one of my friends was sitting right there. I shouldn't be blamed for anything because I didn't ask to be born. I didn't choose to get him. God chose my family. God chose my life. Yes, there have been times I questioned God. Yes. But I trust him. I trust him. Yes, I do. I trust him with everything. And I'm on this journey now. I take nothing from a journey. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, I won't take nothing from a journey.
Oh man, I've lost her. Mary Jane, if you're there, come back in. Y'all please forgive me, but this was a rough one for me to listen to. I told y'all I didn't know the details of her journey. I didn't know all that had happened. I just heard some things over the years. Mary Jane, I don't know if you're still on here or not. If so, oh man. Oh wow. This was a rough one, guys. I don't even have words. I don't know the right words right now. I told y'all we were on this healing journey, mending and healing our family. So over the years, I have uh, pretty much separated myself from the majority of my siblings. And so there were a lot of things that happened and transpired in South Carolina that I had no knowledge of. And the saddest part about it is I didn't make it my business to try to find out what was going on with my siblings. Um, and they probably didn't make it their business to find out what was going on with me. But I am at a loss for words right now because I'm sitting here tonight listening to my sister talking about all of the hurt and the pain that she has felt over the years, and not only from men, the two men that had abused her and one that put a gun to her head to try to murder her. But I'm sitting here listening to my sister talk about the hurt and the pain that she experienced and being ostracized from her family, her sibling, her father, and it broke my heart. Um, I didn't, Mary Jane, I didn't. First, let me say this, and I'm going to say this to my sister. I don't think I might have said it before, but I'm going to say it in here on this platform. Um, I apologize for not knowing and for not even taking the time to find out what was going on in your life. And you know how when you're growing up with somebody and there's already chaos and confusion and separation, and sometimes you just think my sister just being extra, you know, she want attention or just doing this, not knowing that I've got sisters that the enemy was literally trying to kill. My mind is blown right now. So I'm going to say to my big sister, I apologize from my soul for not knowing, not taking the time to find out, and truly, truly, truly not seeing your pain all of these years. I just don't know. I don't know what else to do. I didn't.
But you know, can you hear me?
I didn't. Huh? I can hear you.
You can see me?
I can see you. Yeah.
Oh, because I can't see you. But you know, it's all good. I love my sisters and my brothers. You know, and everything that I went through, I believe I had to go through it. I'm not sitting here telling anyone that I was perfect. I didn't make mistakes, um, because I did. But all the hurt, and I guess being ostracized and being, what other word I want to use? When you don't feel love. And I think, me personally, I was looking for love in all the wrong places. And for God to take somebody like me and mold me, and I'm to the place in my life now. I got more love. Seem like I ever need, because the only thing matters now, I know God loves me. I know.
I tell you what, this interview tonight has put a whole new perspective for me on the Sisters Talk Show, because since December the 7th, when we launched that show, I've seen God do some amazing, wonderful things in our relationship. The sibling, there's still a lot of work to be done. I'm not negating that. But God has moved mightily in our family relationship since December the 7th alone. And tonight, just sitting here, listening to my sister tell a testimony, and for me to hear things that I had no idea that had happened in your life, and I'm your sister. it has put a whole new perspective on mending, and healing this family. For me.
And you're right. Because I look at myself, and even when I met my sisters from my biological dad's side, and seemed like I was just in the middle. And I think I was trying so hard to be accepted. And even to live a life where all somebody had to say was Mary Jane did or Mary Jane, and people believed things that wasn't true about Mary Jane. But you know what I did? I kept believing and trusting in God. I kept believing and trusting in God. People didn't know how much pain I was going through. People couldn't understand, I guess, some things, what I was doing. But I kept trusting and believing in God, because I know the God that I serve, he was going to come through on his time. All I had to do is keep the faith, and I kept the faith. And this journey that I'm on now, this journey, you know, I won't take nothing for this journey. And I need that. Let me tell you, I love my family. I love my children. I love my friends. But I tell you what, I love God more. And when God speaks, I listen. And I'm not gonna allow no one, not even my children, no one to turn me back, no one to let me stop believing and trusting in God. Because when I look back over my life, ain't nobody been there for me but God. People may not understand it, and some may do. But see, if you hadn't been through anything, what can you tell me? See, I've been there. I've been through being ostracized. I've been there. I've been through being rejected. I've been there. I've been there. Nobody feels like when you don't want the relationship and they got a gun to your head. I've been there. And I always say, if you could tell something about somebody, tell the truth. People have a tendency, let me tell you something, people have a tendency of trying their best to destroy your life, your character, especially if you say you're a follower of Christ. Ask me how I know. I've been there. And I'm not talking about strangers either. I'm not talking about strangers. I'm talking about your own family that tried to destroy you. Some people will walk all over you to get to the top. Some people will just make up lies to walk over to get to the top.
That's right.
And it don't be.
That's why when God called for us to be on this platform called the Sisters Talk Show, I thank God we answered and we were obedient, because our family was a mess. Our family, oh man, our family was in a bad way, and I'm talking about Helen and Robert Goodman kids. And I thank God for the journey that he has us on now of healing and restoring and mending our family, because something had to happen. Something had to change in our family. And I'm realizing since December how much hurt and damage was done.
But you know,
by us
but you know what's the
to
sad,
each other.
but you know what the sad thing about it? People will make their friends believe all because I'm close to this person. They will make their friends believe anything, even if it's not the truth. And it's sad
That's true.
when families try to destroy
Yeah, that's true.
another.
That's like 1,000% true.
It's sad.
But this, I gotta be honest. I thank God that He placed us on this healing journey. Because just listening to your testimony alone, when I had Angie on listening to her testimony, and even when we on the show on Mondays at 4 o'clock, um, I'm really, 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 really realizing how much damage there was. I'm really just realizing how much hurt and pain there was in our family among Helen and Robert Goodman kids. And I thank God. I thank God for the platform that He's put us on. I thank God for this show. I thank God for um, Sisters Talk Show, because if God had not, I say God put us on the platforms, we would still be waddling in that mess, that anger, and that hurt, and that destruction. I didn't realize how much damage had been done. I'm seeing now. I'm seeing clearer now than I ever have.
And we get out in public eye. And you know, and it's sad because you know the ones who are trying to really do right, some have got it where and have talked so negative that now people don't know who to believe. And it's sad that when we try to destroy one another.
But listen, sis, I'm gonna tell you, and we've said this on the show. We are a living witness that God can and will restore.
Oh yeah, I'm telling you.
All he needs is for that yes. All he needs is for you to be obedient. I think for those people that have heard the negative stuff about you, about me, that about Angie, Porky, the things that's been said on every hand to people out there in the street, when they see what God is doing now in our family. And listen, we still got we still got some more healing and mending we got to do, and it might be a long, long road of healing and mending. But when these same people see us now and what God is doing now in our relationship, we are a living testimony that God can, will, and He will restore and heal. If all He needs is that yes, and the willingness to begin the journey. And I thank God on December the 7th we began the journey, because I see my sisters differently now. I see my sisters in a way that I haven't seen y'all since we were small children. That's sad to say, but it's reality and it's truth. I see y'all in a whole different light now, in a way that I haven't seen you guys since we were small children.
And you know, and you know, and I feel the same way, you know, and it's sad because, you know, when we out there, like you say, in the public eye, but you know, in reality, we destroyed ourselves.
We did. But you know what? Like
we did
saying
that.
on the show, like we were saying on the show a couple of weeks ago, either we were going to answer this call of that healing and mending on that Sister Talk Show, or God was going to let all of that stuff play out, and it was going to play out in a very bad way, because all of us are walking in what we call a ministry that God has placed us on a platform. And we could not continue in those ministries and on the platforms that God has put us on with hatred, anger, and destruction within our own family unit.
But you know,
God had to do what
I agree with that. I agree with you.
It was going to be destruction for us.
You know, and I agree
and
with
I just
you.
thank God.
Because even, I
thank God for it. I thank God for the platform. I thank God for the healing. I thank God for the mending that's happening. But
yes.
I just want to say to you, I apologize for my soul, for not hearing you, for not seeing you, for not knowing all of these years what you had gone through, the suffering, the pain, the hurt, the domestic violence. I love you. And I thank God that he didn't allow the enemy to take you out. I thank God that he allowed all of us to survive our journeys of domestic violence and mental illness and trying to commit suicide for many years, so that we could get to where we are now and learn each other and know each other as siblings and mend these relationships that we have. Um, I'm just grateful. I am so grateful to God.
I know I am. You know, I mean, I really am. I'm just to a place in my life now, and I look back to where God brought me from. I have no choice but to trust him and to just worship him. And I really won't take nothing. I won't take nothing from my journey. And I'm just to the point in whatever it takes. You know, right now it's nothing that nobody can say or do to me, because my mind is made up and my heart is fixed.
That's right. That's
and
right.
I'm not going to look back. No matter what we have,
well,
no matter what.
I am so glad that we are all now on this journey called life and ministry together. I am so proud and honored to be able to say that you're my big sister, you know, and just watching where God is taking you in your own perspective ministry and journey with your radio talk show. What is it, every Thursday mornings at 9, right?
Yes.
And what is it called? Give it to me again.
Daughter of the King.
Daughter of the King talk show on Women's Inspirational Radio. This is her show every Thursday morning at 9 a.m. I'm honored. I am so honored, and I'm excited about what God is doing with Robert and Helen Goodman kids. It's been a long, rough 30+ years for us, with all of the chaos and all of the anger and all of the frustration and the hate and talking about each other and trying to destroy each other with our tongues. And it's been a long journey for us. And to see what God is doing and the healing happening in our family, I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful, and I am so proud of you and what God is doing in you. And I'm just grateful he didn't allow the enemy to take you out, because I still got my big sis.
Yeah, he tried.
So
the enemy really tried, but it didn't work.
that's right. That's right. Thank you, sis. I don't even know what time it is. I don't even have my watch on tonight. But thank you. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for telling your journey. Thank you for encouraging and blessing somebody. Because this thing tonight is going to help somebody live. And I'm honored.
Well, thank you.
You done made me cry. You done made me cry and everything, but that's all right. Well, thank you for coming on. And I know you're going to have to come back again so you can bless some folks again. But I appreciate you coming on with me tonight and telling your story.
Bless you.
All right. I'm going to call you when I get off of here.